Welcome to Sunflower Philosophy Tarot. My name is Juliana, and today's reading is a general advice reading for right now. So it could be about a specific scenario that's happening for you, or it could just be a general, what do you need to hear right now? It's a timeless reading, doesn't matter when it finds you. And I have 3 piles here for you, so you can select based on the drawing. This is pile 1. This is pile 2. And this is pile 3. And feel free to pick whichever one you're drawn to, or more than one, or, use your own method to pick. But the timestamps are in the description box below and in the pinned comment, so feel free to skip right there. And I will see you in your reading. Hi, pile 1. If you chose this card, then this is your reading for advice that you need to hear right now. So this can be for a specific situation if you have one in mind, but it can also just be general. And I recommend that you just go into it with an open mind and be curious, and you'll know if something's meant for you or not. So let's get right into it. So this image that you chose right here, before I flip it over and read the quote that's on the back of this card, I wanted to just talk a little bit about what I get right off the bat here. So obviously this is a knight facing off against a dragon. It's kind of like a fairy tale-esque setting or vibe. So maybe for you, that's just something that appeals to you. And actually something just came to me right now, but was unexpected, is that imagination might be really important for you right now. So I'm getting an overall feeling that there's something that imagination can do for you that maybe can help you get into the mindset that you need to be in to take certain steps in your life right now. And what I mean by that is, for example, actually like using like fiction or fictional stories, fictional characters that you relate to get you into the mindset of who you want to be in real life, and help you feel brave enough, because there's actually a big thing with bravery and courage. And I want to read the quote in the back in a second, but that pertains to that as well. But this thing of like almost embodying like the archetype of like a knight, a fictional knight, or like a warrior, or a character whose bravery you admire, and sort of bringing them to mind whenever you're looking to act in a certain way, or to act in a way that is like them, to emulate like a character, or even a real figure whose bravery you admire, to take strength from that and to really put yourself in their shoes. So that might be something that's helpful for some of you right off the bat. But reading the quote that's on the back of this card, it is: "Step follows step, hope follows courage. Set your face towards danger. Set your heart on victory." And this is from The Two Princesses of Bamar by Gail Carson Levine. Some of you might recognize that is the same author who wrote Ella Enchanted. And some of you might even recognize the book itself, which is a great book. And it's actually one that I find it's actually... The book itself is kind of about taking strength and courage from the stories and characters and figures of your culture, or that just speak to you strongly. So in the book, it's about 2 princesses that live in the kingdom of Bamar, and the older sister is the one who wants to be a warrior, and the younger sister is the one who wants to stay home and be a princess, and she draws and she creates and she does embroidery, but she's afraid and she considers herself a coward, whereas her sister is considered brave and she wants to go out and rescue people. And long story short, as the book goes on, you find that each sister demonstrates that they have courage in their own ways, and specifically the younger sister, Addie, is the one that you follow, and she learns to find her inner strength and find who she really is and see herself in a different way, so that's significant. But there's also this tradition of reciting epic poetry, much like traditions that have existed in real life, in all different walks of life today. And they have mythical figures, one in particular who is a mythical hero who may or may not have existed long ago in their kingdom, who would fight for the kingdom, who would fight for the strong as well as the meek, as they would put it. And they, throughout the story, recite and remember stanzas from the epic poem that this hero is originally from, and take strength from that in some ways that are more literal than others, even at times. And in times of struggle, like the main character Addie goes on an adventure and is terrified for most of it, but she finds strength in moments remembering parts of this epic poem that this hero was a part of, because he went through some similar things that she's going through. And so she takes strength from that, and it helps her move forward. And so, yeah, that might be something that would be helpful for some of you right now, whether with a specific situation or something just in general that you can keep in mind whenever you're feeling like you need some courage or bravery, is to think of characters, stories, whether fictional or in reality, that bring you strength. And of course, this can extend to if you have spiritual beliefs and you have a belief in certain figures, angels, spirit guides, anyone really, like whatever you draw strength from, it's reminding you to think of those people, think of those figures, and embody those feelings that they bring to you when you imagine them, and imagine that they're with you and working with you. And in some cases, you might actually feel that they are, and feel that becomes your reality, that's true for you. And for others, it might feel like just your imagination, but regardless of how you experience it or see it, as long as it's bringing you tangible results, then why not? Like, if that's where you draw strength from, then take that. And so I think that could be really helpful for a lot of you right now. And another thing I wanted to point out is that this knight has a heart on their shield. And so that could be a really important thing about when you're being brave, when you're facing any fears you might have, doing so from a place of love, from within your heart, you know? You can act out of fear alone, or you can move through fear with the inner strength that you know that you possess. And I feel like the heart embodies a lot of that. That's kind of a symbol, but also in a very literal way when you especially if you meditate a lot, or you are involved with energy work, or you do anything with chakras like the heart chakra, accessing that can be a very powerful thing. So if that's something that you work with, you might want to pay extra attention to that right now as well. But yeah, and it's also the idea that wearing your heart on your sleeve or being vulnerable and open is actually quite brave and very strong, a very strong thing to do. The strength that you find in vulnerability. So perhaps this is something that you need to embrace more, is being vulnerable, which can often involve a lot of fear, is actually something that is very brave and very strong. So even if you feel like you're not so brave because you're experiencing fear, it's remembering that feeling fear is not inherently wrong or bad. It's just an emotion. It's just an experience. It's what you do with that and how you respond to it that sometimes you can make judgments on, but it's really not a bad thing. Like you can be afraid and you can still be very brave and loving, and actually fear is involved in courage. Courage doesn't exist without the experience of fear. You know, we wouldn't have a concept of the idea of courage if fear wasn't a thing. And people who do things that scare them are the ones who are courageous, right? So if you're experiencing fear, then it's really more about what you do with it. So you can move through that, you can overcome it, you can work with it, you can even just allow that fear to be there and say, you know what, I might not do the thing I want to do today, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep coming back, and I'm going to overcome this one day. But it's also sometimes having the courage to step back and give yourself time and space. So hopefully some of that resonates with you. But I also want to get to your angel oracle card here. So you have Isaiah, and this says, it's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations in your life. I am watching over you, guiding you, and protecting you during these changes. So yeah, so maybe there are a lot of changes that you are looking to implement in your life or you're going through. And so that's where you need some courage to face them. And so this here is saying, kind of like what I just said about, it maybe Isaiah means something specific to some of you, and that's a figure that's important for you. But in general, if there are figures that make you feel safe or help you feel protected or help you feel brave, call on them, think of them, bring them to mind, reread, rewatch, re-experience whatever initially brought those stories to you. And when you're in a situation where you're upset or nervous or you're having trouble finding your inner strength, remember those characters. I definitely do that myself, and it helps me in real life. So I think that's worth a shot for you, especially if you're someone who really loves stories. It has something that you're really passionate about or really involved in terms of like fictional experiences and things like that. You know, that's something that I think could really benefit you. And also just remembering that when you feel protected and when you feel guided, then that's true. Then that's real. And you can trust that. And you know when you can trust yourself and when you can't, right? So, yeah. I mean, this card is saying that you are protected, and it's kind of just like getting into the mindset of feeling safe, and yet also acknowledging that with any kind of vulnerability, there's often an inherent fear to that. And again, remembering that fear is not bad. It just is. It's just an experience that you're having. So it doesn't say anything bad about you that you feel fear in any time. And it also isn't an indicator always that the experience that you're having is inherently bad either. Now, there's the in the moment fear that you experience when you need your fight or flight response, right, to immediately get you in or out of a situation, or you're reacting really quickly, you need to protect yourself. Of course, like it just comes out. It's meant to be there for that purpose. It protects you. And then there are times, and you can usually tell the difference pretty easily. There are times when fear, when your fight or flight response or mode kicks in, but it's not necessarily protecting you from anything. It's just in kind of overdrive. You're just not regulated, right? Your nervous system is just going a little overboard. And it can take some time to recognize that you can regulate that and you can learn to calm that down. When it's not needed, you can have your nervous system be calm, be able to relax and not react to things that are not necessary to react to. And you'll know the difference. But it's remembering that fear is not intuition. Fear is a response to danger. And then your body doesn't always distinguish what is immediate physical danger from what is something that is maybe an ingrained pattern of a feeling like you're being endangered that comes from, like, you know, childhood or something. And a specific example being even like a really subtle thing. Like if you're in a conversation with someone and you all of a sudden, like, they look away or they look at their phone or something and you feel like they're ignoring you or they're not listening to you, and you get really heated or really upset or really like, oh no, like, I'm not being interesting. And you start getting anxious and afraid that you're messing up in a social situation or something like that. And meanwhile, what's actually probably going on is that that person's either, I mean, there's so many different things. Like, they could be waiting for an important message from someone. They could just not be someone who's very used to being present in conversations themselves, and that's just their own thing. They could be habitually looking at their phone because they're just used to doing that. That's one of their patterns that they're in, and it has nothing to do with you, right? But if say you experienced a lot of rejection when you were younger, then it's going to feel like a bigger deal to you now. But it's not the objective truth of the situation. It's just how you're experiencing it. And so it's, distinguishing the times when fear is necessary, which is like in the moment, you got to protect yourself. Sometimes you're protecting yourself from other people. Sometimes you're protecting yourself by getting out of the way of like a car in the middle of the street, right? Like that's necessary and important. It's there for a reason. And then other times it's there for a reason still, but it's maybe just an old pattern that eventually can go away. You don't need it anymore. You don't need to feel unsafe in that moment. As long as you are patient with yourself and teach yourself to take a step back, take a deep breath, regulate yourself, and move on, and learn to decondition your nervous system from reacting to situations like that, where you just feel, you know what, it's not necessary here anymore. I think we can let that go. Which, of course, can be a long-term process, but it might be something worth looking into now as well. If that could be part of the advice here that's coming through for some of you, is like maybe looking into practices that can help you regulate your nervous system more, because maybe there are some situations that have been coming up that are that you're ready to stop being fearful in, right? That you notice are regular triggers for you, but you actually are ready to move along and calm yourself down and not react in that way to those things. So that could be important as well. But I'm going to get some just more information from the tarot cards and see if there's anything else. Don't want that to fly away. All right. Let's see. What else? What other advice, or how else can we elaborate on this for pile 1? What else do we need to know right now for pile 1? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll take that. And, ooh, okay. And that. And let's see if there's one more. Let's see if there's one more. Oh, that one fell on the floor. Oh, okay. All right. Knight of Wands on the bottom of the deck. And honestly, because we're talking about, we've got like the Knight on the other side of this card, I'm going to put that over here. Oh, I'm also going to read from the book for this as well in a moment. But let's see. Yeah. Okay, so we have got Cups here, which is emotions and water and things like that. And we've got Pentacles here, which is earth. But then, oh, okay, yeah. This is, okay. You know, before I get into these cards, for some reason I feel like I want to read whatever's in the guidebook for this Isaiah angel card. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to get back to the cards, actually. So give me a moment. Let me find Isaiah in here. Here you are. All right, so as I said before, it says, "It's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations in your life. I am watching over you, guiding you, and protecting you during these changes." Yes, again, so maybe you've got some new ideas that you want to implement in your life, but maybe you're also just going through some change. Either way, this is saying you're protected, and there is something here about perhaps having some fear around it, which is totally normal and fine. And so let's see what additional messages that this guidebook has. Oh, it's on page 42 also, which is a significant number for me, so maybe it's also significant for you. And this says, "You are ripe with new possibilities, and you feel an urgency to push into new territory. Beloved one, your new and exciting life changes are inevitable. There is no turning back. Instead of playing it safe, you decided to move forward." Yes, okay. This is you, this Knight of Wands over here too. You decided to move forward. That is why I am with you right now, giving you the extra courage and comfort that you need. Extra courage, oh my gosh, courage. However, there is no need to rush. This is a time of incubation where nature can allow everything to grow in its innate rhythm. Be assured that your life change will hatch at just the right moment. In the meantime, know that God and the angels are watching over you. You are safe and very loved. Congratulations on the birth of this new period of your life. Great. Okay, yes. So there's definitely a lot there about having courage, about going through changes, and perhaps about, for a lot of you, maybe these are changes that you have consciously implemented in your life, that you are consciously working towards or are looking to consciously work towards, and that you're in the middle of. And this is saying, keep going, you're doing great. We're with you. We love it. And of course, there's the whole message here of like fears that are coming up. Anything that's fear is normal. Fear is okay. But if there's anything that is preventing you from moving forward towards the new, towards the change that you want, that's okay. But you got to deal with it, right? You gotta look at those fears and work with them. And it did say take your time. So we do have this Knight of Wands here, which the Knight of Wands can be very fast, very quick, can rush into things. Not as much as the Knight of Swords, but it is saying maybe the changes that you're going through or that are coming in are pretty fast. But it's saying like there's no rush, and it's actually, I feel like the more easygoing you become about the changes and the more that you just flow with them and let them in and like go with it and move intentionally towards them, the faster they might go, just because there's less resistance there as well. But it's kind of just like easing back and letting things happen and not feeling like you need to jump into action too quickly. Taking the time to step back, to regulate yourself, to deal with any anxiety that comes up and acknowledge that and let that be, and then also let that go. And getting into the tarot now, we have the Four of Cups, the Nine of Cups, and the Two of Pentacles. So yeah, there's a lot about emotions here. So we have the Four of Cups. To me, right now, that is saying that this kind of hand giving this person the cup, it's kind of like the universe handing you an opportunity. And the Four of Cups person here has their arms crossed and they are looking down. So that signifies that they're maybe not seeing that offer or not seeing that opportunity, or they're ignoring it. So there could be part of you that, for some of you, that are hesitant about opportunities that are coming your way, or are maybe due to some ingrained fears and anxieties that you're ready to let go, are maybe missing offers or have not seen offers or opportunities because you didn't believe that they were part of the possibilities for you, because you just shut that down because you were afraid of it, which is totally fine. But this is saying, with the context of this reading, that as you release those fears, as you embrace courage, as you set your face towards danger, which in this case is things that feel dangerous to your nervous system that you know actually are not, right? And sometimes it's hard to distinguish that when you're in the feeling, but you actually will know, what's truly dangerous and what's not when you tap into your intuition and you regulate your nervous system. So it's saying that when you do that and you embrace that, these opportunities will become available to you because you will actually look towards them. You'll look up and you'll say, oh, I can do that. And it's like the more that you put one foot in front of the other and take the steps towards those changes and into the changes that you're making, the more you will see them. And the more things will come across your path that you'll just automatically take on because you're used to going with it, right? Like you're used to taking those steps. You're used to moving through fear, and it just becomes easier as you go until you get to this place of complete satisfaction, it's like you can consistently return to this place of complete satisfaction with this Nine of Cups here, where it's kind of like this person has taken all of their opportunities, right? And they're satisfied with themselves. They're really happy with their life as it is. And the cups are emotional, right? So it's an internal state. It's a deep internal satisfaction. And that's something that you can tap into at any time. It's not about necessarily getting things externally to be satisfied about. It's about being satisfied with your internal state. And something I can directly relate to with that here, which also relates to what I was saying about opening up to opportunities around you, is that, for example, for me, the more that I have sort of pushed through certain things that were fearful, that caused me to be fearful in my life, the more I became satisfied that no opportunities will pass me by, because I know that fear is not something that stops me from taking opportunities that are really meant for me, because I've practiced that. I've used that muscle, and I'm getting stronger at it every day, to the point where things that I wouldn't have even thought twice about doing, because I would have just discounted them from my reality completely because I thought I would be too afraid to do them, are things that now I would just do without even thinking about it, right? So the more that you work that muscle, the more that you build up this courage, the more that you become this knight who can move forward into things without thinking too much about it, not from an impulsive place where you just jump into it and you think that you have to, and it's maybe there's some tension and resistance there still, although that might be part of your journey to get to a place of complete comfortability with like moving towards quote unquote danger. But it's like moving from a place of just being confident, being sure in yourself, and not doubting yourself. And that's what this 9 of Cups embodies right here. And it's kind of like with this knight, right? Anyone who chooses to be a warrior, who makes that choice deliberately, it's also like about choice too. If you're choosing to it, like choosing to do, saying, you know what, this thing causes fear in me, but I'm choosing to do it anyway. When you feel like you make that choice, it puts all the power back in your hands too. And it's completely different from when you just feel forced to do something. You have to do it, but you really don't want to, right? When you choose it, that makes all the difference. And it's like when someone's like a knight or a warrior in any kind of culture around the world, and that's their role that they've chosen, especially in, you know, more ancient societies where that was a significant role people took on. It's not that they would never feel fear necessarily, but because this is the path that they've chosen and this is what they've worked towards, and that it's something that they might not feel fear in the same way that someone who is put into a fearful situation where they have to defend themselves or they have to defend someone else without having the training or the knowledge that this is something that they will have to do in their life ahead of time will feel it. It's a different experience, right? When you take the reins and you do life, then you don't feel like it's being done to you, even when you're experiencing fear and things like that. And so if there are things this is really about things that you're choosing to do, danger that you're choosing to face, that again, it's not necessarily actual danger, but it's things that you feel are dangerous. And it feels very real in that moment. But when you are conscious about it and you work through that, eventually, you know, your body can regulate itself, you know, and there's different things you can do to move through that kind of anxiety. And for me, that's been a lot of yoga, little things, even like going for walks when I can, remembering to get outside, just making my bed in the morning is something that really helps me. And I don't do it like, I don't get crazy about it, but it's something that calms me down and helps me feel ready for the day. Little things even can help with that. But yeah, overall, it's about intentionality, being really intentional, even when you're moving into a space where you're fearful, right? And being okay with that. And then the 2 of Pentacles here is just very simply, I mean, we've got like the ships on the water in the background, that it's like turbulent waves. And this person right here is balancing these pentacles, juggling these pentacles. It's like balance, finding balance, emotional balance. So there is something here about balancing your emotions, I do feel. And balancing when you push forward, when you move forward with fear, and balancing when you're gentle with yourself and you say, you know what, I'm choosing not to do this thing right now that scares me, but you know, I understand why I'm choosing that at this moment, and I'm at peace with it. And then you can always go back in the next situation that you're in and make a different choice. But it's really about being intentional, you know? Being intentional, drawing strength from whatever figures or stories bring you that strength, and using that to carry you through whatever changes you're making in your life or whatever changes you're going through. Even if you're going through things that feel like they're happening outside of your control, find what decisions you can make intentionally through those changes that can help make that more comfortable for you, and find the part of you that is willing to choose that change so that you can make the best of it, right? And feel more in control. Yeah, so really, I feel like that was pretty straightforward, but who knows what kind of situation that this applies to for you. Could just be general advice that's useful, could apply to something specific. Regardless, I do feel that you are at an exciting time that might be a little scary, but is ultimately going to lead to great things, and just trust that you're protected, and use your discernment, your intuition to move forward and make decisions for yourself. So hope that was helpful for you, and I will hopefully see you in another reading very soon. In the meantime, if you would like, you can like this video, comment, or subscribe. And if you want to take a look at the services that I offer, I actually am in business with my mom. We have a website, sunflowerphilosophy.com, and we offer tarot guidance sessions, which are live one-on-one guidance sessions. We also offer recorded tarot readings, but then we also have some other services like hypnosis, as well as human design readings, which my mom does. And so if you're interested in any of that, feel free to check it out. I'll put a link in the description. But regardless, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Bye. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this card, then you are in the right place. So, this reading today is just some advice for right now. So it could be about a specific situation, but it does not have to be. But if you have one in mind, feel free to keep it in mind and see if any of this advice applies to it. Otherwise, just keep a curious, open mind and see what comes through. And we're just going to get right into it. So, first things first, this image that you chose, if you can see, it's got two figures reaching towards each other through the cosmos. It's very, I like it. It's a very kind of sweet vibe. But the idea of, to me, it's bringing to mind, especially right now, the idea of this could be about like a relationship or connection in general with something that you feel is fated for you or that you're reaching for. But there's a quote on the back of this, so I'd like to read that. So we might get some more information there. So this quote says, "The lifelong friends," he said, "we sometimes wait a lifetime for them." So yes, this is definitely a quote and a card that relates a lot to connections, to friendships, to any kind of relationship, I think. And the quote is from Autumn by Ali Smith, which is a really good book if you want to check it out. And this brings to mind the idea of feeling just connected to certain people or having people that you feel like are meant to be in your life. And it's a very nice feeling, but it also, like the lifelong friends, we sometimes wait a lifetime for them. It can feel like sometimes maybe you feel like you're waiting for people to show up in your life or people who are meant for you in your life. And so there is this feeling of waiting for the right thing, of waiting for the right time, but also this knowing that they will show up, that they will be there when they're meant to be. So let's look at your angel card as well and see if we can get some more clarity on this. So we have Merlina, and Merlina says, "You are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. Do your research or seek expert advice before making a decision." So maybe there's a decision that you're making right now and you're not sure if it's quite the right one for you. And this right now is coming through to say it's okay to take your time. You don't have to know immediately, and you don't have to shut something down just because you don't know, but you can take it one step at a time and just move forward, gather more information, And you'll know when the time is right to either say yes to something or to say no to something, or just allow the thing to, basically just allow something or someone to show themselves to you or show itself to you and show you how it's going to fit into your life and if it's right for you or not. So that's what I'm feeling like right now. So it could be about a very specific situation for you, but it could also be about the general idea of being okay with uncertainty and also trusting that what's meant for you will come to you at the right time. Being able to be patient and not need to know definitively one way or another if something is just blanket statement right for you or wrong for you, but being able to just move forward one step at a time and let each moment clarify things for you. And it could be very literally about doing research if there's a specific situation where you might want to gather more knowledge. So that could be something too. But yeah, we can also read from the guidebook as well to get more information about this card, Merlina, which, by the way, could be an important figure for you if you're familiar with this. I'm actually not. I'm not sure if this is a specific like angelic figure or not, but this might have significance for you. So definitely take that. So in the guidebook, it says, "You have felt like you are chasing your tail, looking at this option and then that option. This indecisiveness is exhausting you, dear one. The reason why you're confused is that you do not have enough information to make an informed decision. Your choices appear too similar right now, but once you conduct additional research, your decision will become clear. First, begin by asking God and the angels to enter your dreams and give you more information. Then ask your feelings to give you guidance. This means imagining what it would feel like to make this decision. Then imagine what it would feel like to make the other choice. Go deep within and notice how your body reacts as you try on the different options. If your gut or jaw tightens, this is a sign that something isn't right. If your heart flutters with warmth, this is a sign that you are on the right path. Before you make your final decision, seek the counsel of wise friends and teachers whose experience and intuition can guide you." So, some of that is very specific advice, and so if any of that specific advice resonates with you, definitely take that. It could be that you are making some kind of decision right now. And again, with the lifelong friends quote, it could be that it's about someone or something. But I do feel like there's this strong feeling of fatedness about this, whatever it is about, this feeling that there's something that's meant for you and it's meant to come in at the right time. And it's really, there's a lot about timing, because like we sometimes wait a lifetime for them. It's also about it's never too late, right? It's never too late for something, for anything. So in the book Autumn by Ali Smith, the person who says this quote is a very, very old man. And he happens to befriend his neighbor, who is the one it's a literary novel, so perspective is kind of interesting in how it's woven throughout the novel and how it's done differently for different characters. But without getting too into that, there's this woman who, when she's a little girl, meets this older man, and sometimes you're from her perspective and sometimes you're from his perspective, and you're with them throughout different stages of their life as well. But they become close friends. They're just neighbors, and he babysits for her sometimes. And throughout their lives, they just have a very strong like soul connection in like a very innocent but very sweet way. And so he says this quote, and for him, he's lived a very long life and had lots of experiences that this girl was never a part of and may never know about. And yet he feels very connected in friendship with her. And it doesn't matter that they're at very different stages of their life. And it doesn't matter that they have very different experiences. And it doesn't matter that he has spent a whole lifetime without her friendship. He's very happy and grateful for her friendship in the moment that it has come to him. And it has come to him at the right time and the right place. So it's not a matter of missing an opportunity, but rather letting the ones that are coming towards you come to you when they will, and not having it in your head that it's too late for you to experience, for example, deep friendships, if you have a narrative in your head that people have to meet and become friends when they're kids and then stay friends for their whole lives, and that's the only way you can have a really deep and meaningful friendship, then you might miss out on opportunities to have really deep and meaningful friendships with people that you meet at any stage of your life, right? So something in that might be useful for you to keep in mind. And I will also get some more information from the tarot now and see if there's any more advice that we can give to you. Let's see. Additional advice for pile 2, additional information. What can we get for them in this moment? What do they need to hear right now? Whoa, okay. That flew out. Yeah. And anything else? Anything else we can... Ooh, okay. That fell on the floor. And let's see if we can get one more. I'm going to move this up a little bit. See if we can get one more card for advice for you. Whoa, that fell on the floor too. Wow, the cards are really jumping today. Okay, and Queen of Pentacles on the bottom. I'll put that over here. Okay, so we have the Six of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the Three of Swords. We've got earth, water, and air. And the Six of Pentacles reverse, in this case, I feel that it is saying, there's something here about, okay, there's a few different things that I'm getting from this, but one is giving back to yourself. So if you feel like maybe there's something like a decision that you're trying to make or connections that you're trying to make or something like that, and maybe you're impatient for it or it's not quite coming out the way that you want it to, and you're tempted to, there could be something here about maybe giving too much of yourself externally in hopes of making the decision or finding the connection that you want. To do like there's something here, yeah, but about giving too much of yourself externally when maybe you need to be giving back to yourself, focusing within, which will help give you the clarity that you need to find what is right for you, to make the quote unquote right decision, to connect more deeply with your inner self. So giving back to yourself, it could mean in this case, if you need to step back and take your energy away from certain situations or people, not in like a defensive way, but in a way of like just taking time to yourself, carving out some alone time, and maybe taking a nap, sleeping more. If something's going to restore your energy that is more active, like going for a walk, that could help too. But something with giving back to yourself first, which will then enable you to give outwardly again when you're ready to. But also it's about finding situations, if you're making a decision right now between like different situations or different people, it's finding the situation or the people who have that equal give and take with you, where you feel like there's an equal give and take, that you're not giving all and receiving none, or that the other person isn't giving to you and you're not really willing to give to them. Like whatever situation where there's just a natural back and forth, if it's, like a job or something where you feel like you're getting back either physically, like literally like the money that you feel you deserve, it's giving back that to you, or you're getting back also just satisfaction, you're getting what you're looking for out of the thing, and you're able to also give freely to whatever you're giving to right now without feeling like it's depleting you or taking from you, right? So like wherever there's an equal give and take, that's what's right for you. And with this Queen of Cups, so there could be an element of of taking a look at your emotional state right now. If you're giving emotionally a lot, it could be time to set some boundaries there, whatever that looks like for you. Just be aware and honest about your emotions with yourself, and also be controlled about them, but not in like a controlling way where you're suppressing your emotions, but rather like the Queen of Cups, she knows what she's feeling. She has her eye on this cup, right? She's in touch with her intuition. Oh, okay, yeah. It's getting in touch with your intuition, right? And your emotional state and regulating your emotions is part of that. So you might want to focus on that, like giving back to yourself. Like if you're feeling burned out or depleted by anything, taking back your energy and going within. And like kind of like the guidebook said, where you can go in within yourself and meditate a bit and imagine yourself in different situations with different people or different options if you're thinking of a decision, and imagine how you feel in those situations, and you get in touch with your body, and your body will tell you, does it feel good? Does it not feel good? And this could be just a momentary thing. Like, so for example, if a certain option or person in your life doesn't feel good, it could just be like right now, that's because you need to really be with yourself. You need to be alone with yourself. When you feel like you're replenished, then you can revisit the situation and see, okay, does this person or option or whatever feel any different to me now that I have gone back and replenished myself? I have been in my own energy and I've become in touch with my intuition and my emotions again. So yeah, don't make a decision, in other words, from a place of feeling like you're lacking something. Don't make a decision from a place of feeling like you have to, or feeling like someone's pushing you into something, or you're being pushed by outside forces into it. Whenever you can, pull back into yourself, get in touch with yourself, calm yourself down, feel assured in your emotions and your intuition, and then be fully honest with yourself about what truly feels right. And in that moment, you won't have to think too much about it. You'll feel it, right? And then with the Three of Swords reversed, there could be something here about old losses or insecurities or grief, which could be about anything as tangible as a death, but also could be about a feeling of rejection from the past, losing a job, or losing a precious heirloom, or like I don't know, you experience grief when you're like a kid and you accidentally let your balloon go and it floats up into the sky and then it's gone and you're upset and you start crying. Like, that's grief too. So it doesn't have to be something like huge and momentous, but it could be. So there could be some kind of emotional upset that you've experienced, big or small in your eyes, that once you tap into that, acknowledge it, and clear it out so it's no longer depleting you, then after that, you'll be able to make your decision. You'll be clearer on what's truly right for you, right? And it could be that something that's not right for you now in this emotional state could be right for you down the line when you're in a better emotional state, but you don't want to make that decision when you have things that are that you need to really address and look at, so that you can make the decision from a better headspace and a better emotional state. So that's definitely a big thing. Is as I feel like for a lot of you, you're making some kind of decision, and or you're waiting for something to come in, right? And you want to know that it's going to come in at the right time, or you want to know that you're making the right decision, and it's just kind of about centering yourself, coming back to yourself, looking within, and dealing with any emotions that are coming up, anything that is unaddressed within you, because that's all important information that will help you make the decision. But there's no rushing into anything right now, right? It's like, take your time, do your research, whether that's inner work or external research, and you'll find your answer in the right time, in the exact right time, right? It doesn't matter if it takes a little while. Doesn't mean it's going to, but it doesn't matter if it does. It's more important that you take it one step at a time. And then, of course, we have the Queen of Pentacles here, who is very grounded. So I feel like this is ultimately the energy, the Queen of Cups and Queen of Pentacles being here. They're both feminine energies, which is, it's not about like, it's about being really settled within, going within, being in touch with your intuition. And the Queen of Pentacles here, she's very grounded. So going outside in nature could help you clear your mind and clear your emotions and get in touch with yourself. But also she's just very appreciative of like what she has in the moment. And she's looking at this pentacle, and she's, it's like looking at her material world that she has in front of her and appreciating it for what it is, right? She's not someone who needs to go out and chase things or push things. Things come to her, right? She's tended to her garden, and it's now growing for her, and she's abundant in it. So it's kind of, I think this is really the space that you want to get to. And in this space, you will always know when something is right for you, because you will have cultivated it. Whether it's literally physically cultivating something that you're growing, that you're creating, or even just cultivating the mindset, the emotional state that will allow you to accept something into your life, like a new friend or relationship, or like an opportunity coming to you and you being ready for it, right? That kind of thing. So yeah, it's about getting grounded, getting into your intuition, addressing any emotional upsets that need to be addressed, taking your time, doing your research, trusting that everything that is meant for you will come to you in the right time. And that with this lifelong friends, it's like, even if that thing comes to you later in life, it's like it was always meant for you, right? It's like that idea. So get into that headspace of what is meant for you will come to you always. You will never, ever miss out. And you won't have any hesitations, and you'll know exactly what to do. Okay, so that's all I've got for you, Pile 2. A very lovely reading. I hope this was helpful for you. And if you would like, you can feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. That would be amazing. And also, if you're interested, I do have a business. I do tarot, one-on-one tarot guidance sessions, as well as recorded tarot videos. And I also do hypnosis, and my mom does all of those, and also human design readings. We have a business together. It's called Sunflower Philosophy, so I'll put the link in the description if you want to check that out and you're interested in any of our services. But no matter what, I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for letting me read for you. Bye! Hi, Pile 3. If you chose this image of the sailboat, then you are in the right place. And today's reading is just going to be some advice for right now. So this could be about something specific if you've got a specific situation in mind, but it could also just be in general what you need to hear right now. So feel free to either keep your situation in mind or just keep your mind open and curious and see if anything comes through that is significant for you. So to start with the image that we have here of the sailboat, I always get immediate, especially right now, I was getting a really strong Six of Swords feeling, which if you are familiar with the Six of Swords, it's people moving they're literally people in a boat, actually, and they're sailing into smoother waters. So it's like the idea of moving forward, of moving on to better things, or moving into a better place. And maybe even just, since it's swords, moving into a better, more peaceful state of mind. So that could be significant to your situation right now, or to you in general. And there's also a quote on the back of this, so we'll read that. So your quote is, "It is not a failure to readjust my sails to fit the waters I find myself in." And that's from The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. And yeah, so you might find that in this moment, you feel that you need to make some adjustments in some kind of situation, or in your attitude, or in your mental state as well. And this is a reminder that that is okay and just part of the process. It's not a failure to change your mind or to decide to do things differently. And in fact, often that's just growth, right? So it could be that this refers to a way of being or doing things or thinking that you were attached to in the past that now you're moving on from, but part of you feels almost like a hypocrite or something because you've changed your mind. And this is just reminding you that that's not even relevant. Honestly, it's just where you are now, right? You were in a different place and now you're in the place that you're in. And whatever places you've been in, they may have served you, and whatever ways of thinking that you were accustomed to may have served you, but now it's time to move on to new ways of thinking. And as you live, you learn and grow. And that's the same as if this is pertaining to a specific situation, a specific project you're working on, or something like that. Totally fine to run into some things that look like roadblocks, but may actually just be redirecting you to a more creative way of doing things, a better way of doing things. You can always, always, always adjust, and it's not a failure. And that's something that can be really hard to accept, especially if you have a bit of perfectionist tendencies and you have a very set idea of how you want things to go. But if you can loosen up a little bit and go with the flow, then you'll be very surprised at how things will work out, sometimes even better than you planned them. So yeah, that's really important. But let's see what your angel guidance card says as well. So we have Bethany here. So Bethany could be a significant figure or angel for you if you're familiar with this figure, or the name Bethany could be significant. But Bethany says, when you take excellent care of yourself, everybody benefits. Give yourself a relaxing treat today, such as a massage, sea salt bath, or pedicure. Yeah, so could be very straightforward. This could be just giving yourself some self-care today. And just relaxing and riding the waves, going with the flow, letting yourself take a step back if you need to. Feeling like maybe if you need a new perspective, or you feel like you need to make adjustments in something that you're doing right now, taking a step back might give you exactly what you need. When you come back to whatever you're working on, you'll see it with new eyes, and you'll see it from the perspective that you need, and you'll be able to make the adjustments that you make. If you're feeling stuck at all, stop what you're doing, take a moment, step back, and then when you're ready to return, you'll be able to see exactly what you need to do. And that is something that happens a lot in real life too. So this could apply to a simple situation, like something as simple as running into a problem at work and just being too overwhelmed in the moment right now. Maybe you've just been doing one thing after the other, and you're like, oh, I have no idea how to solve this problem. What am I going to do? Obviously, like, if you don't need to solve it immediately, let it be. Just let it be. Step away. When you're in the right mindset, the answers will come to you. Let's also read from the guidebook to see what else we can get from Bethany. So this says, you are a giver, and God loves you for that. Now it is time to give to yourself. I am helping you to spiritually open your body through the process of relaxation. So you see that relaxing... Sorry, I was confused by the sentence structure. So you see that relaxing has its own productive side to it. The more you allow me and the other angels to give to you, the more you will be able to give to others. Your soul has called out to heaven, begging for some rest and relaxation. You have been working ceaselessly, and you have also been juggling many other people's interests. Now it is time for your reward. This is a directive from heaven. Take care of yourself and don't allow yourself to be swayed from this important mission. Take steps right now to create time for relaxation. You will feel happier and have more peace of mind as a result, which will benefit everyone in your life. Yeah, so that is pretty straightforward. So you can take all of that very literally and exactly if you want, and maybe that's really just all you need to hear right now, and you need to take some time to relax. If you would like to see if there's anything else here for you or any more clarification or advice, I'm going to just get some tarot cards, and we'll take a look at that as well. But yeah, definitely, especially also with the sailboat imagery, it's feeling like going with the flow, letting the current take you, right? Letting go for a moment, flipping onto your back, and just letting yourself flow downstream in whatever way that sounds good to you. So whatever your preferred self-care methods are, however you best help yourself let go, employ that now. Take that into account. And again, if there is some kind of new perspective you need, you'll get it likely during or after this relaxation time. But completely disconnect for now from whatever it is you're trying to figure out, because you need some time. So, ooh, okay. A card just fell on the floor. We'll take that. Okay, yeah. 7 of Cups. And let's see if we can get... Okay. I'm gonna... Yeah, like that. Okay. And... one more. Let's get one more. Ooh. Yeah, we'll take that. Okay. Interesting. Oh, okay. I think yeah. I know exactly what this means. All right. Let's talk about it. Okay. So. Straighten that out. Okay, so 7 of Cups, overwhelm. So if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, disconnect. Go within. Go relax. Take some time. This can also mean like maybe there's a lot of different options or different things that you're considering. There might be something in pile 2 that resonates with you if you have a decision to make. That was about decision making as well. So you might want to check that out. But yeah, this is just simply saying, there's too much, I'm getting like sensory overload, right? Sensory overload. It also could be like maybe you've bitten off more than you can chew. Maybe you've made more promises to people than you actually can follow through on right now. You thought that you could, but maybe you're just feeling burned out and overwhelmed. And there's that thing of like not wanting to let people down, not wanting to let yourself down. But again, it is not a failure to readjust my sails to fit the waters I find myself in. You can't always account for everything. You don't always know how things are going to impact you. If you've got too much going on, you might just have to make peace with letting people down with the recognition that actually you're not, because as it says here, when you take excellent care of yourself, everybody benefits. You will do better for yourself and for others once you've recharged. And here we have this 7 of Pentacles, which it kind of came out like it could have been upright or reversed. When I flipped it over, it was reversed, but I associate that with impatience sometimes and a difficulty of being in the present moment. Because upright, this guy is really just appreciating their crops and what they've grown and appreciating the process of it, right? It's a very satisfied energy. So you might be feeling a bit impatient right now and you're not able to sit back and take stock of what you've already done and what you've already accomplished. And you might not be able to appreciate that. But it also could be because, this person's working in the field and this is in reverse. It's just like simply take a break. Take a break. Take a break. It's very straightforward. I love that. And then Page of Cups over here in reverse. I think this is also alluding to the fact that, okay, yeah, if you are go, and you're not allowing yourself to take a step back and get a new perspective on things, or you're not, maybe your idea of how things have to go is too narrow, you're not allowing for potential surprises, because the Page of Cups can be like a figure of surprise to me. So you're not allowing for the universe to bring potential surprises into the situation that will make it go smoother, or a new idea will come to you after you've relaxed and it'll actually make your project better, or whatever you're doing. Or if it's, it could be anything that this applies to, but just taking some time out lets things surprise you. I would find at my old job, I was working on tickets for customers and things like that. And there would be times when I would get a new ticket in and I would just be so focused on trying to get done with everything as thoroughly, but also as quickly as possible. And then I would be overwhelmed and a new ticket would come in and I would look at it and immediately think, I don't know how I'm going to solve this. But then I would take a step back. I would go on break or something. I would remind myself it doesn't have to be solved immediately. It can wait until tomorrow. And sometimes the thing that I didn't know how to resolve would resolve itself by the time I got to it. So if I didn't jump in right away and try to resolve it immediately, like, I didn't need to do that. It just took care of itself, and I didn't have to stress about it, right? So that can even happen when you just take a step back. You don't have to push sometimes. Sometimes things just you need to let things flow, and then they take care of themselves. So that is an important thing to consider as well. And yeah, just let yourself relax. And we have this Ten of Swords in reverse on the bottom of the deck, so that could be just a heads up of if you feel yourself getting burned out, or you feel yourself taking on your mind. I think because the swords is like thoughts and your mental energy, and it's the Ten of Swords, it can be like you're being drained by your own thoughts internally sometimes, especially in reverse. So it's like if your internal monologue is draining you, taking a step back, clearing your mind, taking a step back from anything that's bringing your attention away from yourself as well. So it might be worthwhile to not, to not look at social media for a little while, to do something that's just not focused on other people's energy, to get really present with yourself and quiet your mind, because that could be draining you. You might have some just thoughts running, some threads of stress that might have cropped up throughout the day that maybe you haven't taken the time to get rid of. Sometimes if you have like a tense exchange with someone, or you have something that scares you momentarily, or something that causes you anxiety, and then it passes, you still have that feeling within you, and you don't always remember where it originally came from. And so you're just carrying around that extra stress that's actually no longer present in your life. And if you take a step back from everything and take a moment to notice it, you can take a moment to breathe and let it go. And sometimes you can even take a thread, follow it all the way back to where it originally started, and realize, oh, that's what this like worry was originally about, that's still in my body. That's not even a big deal anymore. And that's happened to me so many times. I'll like think back to like, oh, I was stressed out because that exchange that I had with someone earlier stressed me out, but that's over now, and actually it worked out well. So I can let that go. So you might need to do that. So yeah, that is pretty much it for you guys. So hopefully that was helpful for you. And I hope you take some time and relax and just be with yourself. You deserve it. And in the meantime, if you'd like, you can like, comment, subscribe. If you're interested, my mom and I have a business, sunflowerphilosophy.com. The link is in the description, and we do tarot guidance sessions, which is like one-on-one readings with people, and then we also do recorded tarot readings as an option as well. And we also are certified hypnotists. We do hypnosis, and my mom does human design readings. So if you're interested in any of that, feel free to check that out. And no matter what, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.